Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. Match day, big game against Chelsea. Very excited about this one. I hope you are as well. But it is Sunday morning, so we do have the transfer show, and you do tend to get little bits of things that maybe you wouldn't get during the week. This is the traditional Sunday morning UK press. We've also got some quite interesting quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about the summer transfer plan as well. But I'm going to start off with Anthony Martial. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did speak about Martial last night, saying that, basically he knows he's going through a difficult period, but he's got the quality to come through it. But I think one thing that we've observed over the last couple of weeks, and certainly over this weekend, is that there is growing rumours and murmurs about Manchester United being open to allowing Anthony Martial to leave this summer. And I think one of the most interesting things I was reading yesterday was in relation to Anthony Martial going to Borussia Dortmund as part of a Jadon Sancho swap deal. I don't think Anthony Martial can leave Manchester United this summer. I know that's going to disappoint some people and it's going to make some people really happy, but I think we said this yesterday morning. I think you need to look at things from a sensical point of view, not a nonsensical point of view. And we've been talking the last couple of weeks about De Gea and Henderson, and people say let's sell De Gea, and many of us say, well, how do you do that? He's got 3.5 years left on his contract. We'd want at least £50 million for him, and he's on 18 million a year. There's probably not a football club in the world that would go near that deal. Whereas Henderson at 140k and about 40 million, I think people would do that. And Man United probably have to go with selling Henderson over De Gea. I think you talk about Manchester United trying to close the gap on Man City, which I spoke about last night. Well, buying a third choice centre back is not. I said this on Twitter last night. If Manchester United genuinely don't want to spend 65 million on Koundé and would rather spend 40 million on Pau Torres, you don't close the gap on first by buying third-rate choices. You finish third. And this is what United don't seem to get. Well, we're not going to spend this money, we'll go and get someone cheaper. Well, if you buy cheap products, you don't finish first. It's as simple as that. And I think when you look at the Martial potential deal this summer, and maybe it is time for Martial to go. Maybe it is time for Martial to go. I'm not saying that it isn't. But if it is time for Martial to go, then maybe we are in the situation whereby I can't see how we'd sell Martial, is what I'm trying to say. I can't see how we'd sell Martial for cash. But I think we could do a swap deal. As I've said, I speculatively said a couple of weeks ago we could do a deal with Sevilla for Koundé, and I think we could. I think Koundé and I think Martial to Sevilla would work. But what about Martial as part of a Sancho deal? Now, a lot of people would say, "Well, no, that's not really." I don't know why they've gone all Cockney on me, but I don't know why you think Dortmund would take Martial, mate. I don't know. You're talking out your arse, but I'm not talking out my arse. Sometimes I do, but I'm not talking out my arse on this. I think that. Look, we're going to talk about Telles going to Inter as part of a swap deal. There's a story about that. We're going to talk about Milinkovic, and we're going to talk about what Solskjaer actually said about transfers last night. But in relation to Borussia Dortmund, I think they want cash. I think they want cash for Haaland. I think they want cash for Jadon Sancho. I think that's what Dortmund's model is, and you don't need to be an in-depth football fan to know that that's what Dortmund's plan is. However, they have taken a lot of players over the age of 25. Alcazar, they brought in, I think, at 25 from Barcelona, and I probably pronounced his name wrong. Delaney, I think they got Delaney from Bremen or someone like that. He was about 26. Emre Can, they brought from Juventus at 25. I think Mkhitaryan was about 24 when they brought him over as well. Schürrle was 25. So they have got a lot of. They're not just, I think a lot of people think Dortmund, they buy these teenagers and they sell them high. They do, but you can't do that. You can't have 11 teenagers. So what they do also have is they have more experienced players. Matt Hummels was brought in at 30 from Bayern Munich. It was a little bit different because he played for Dortmund before. Goetz did the same. But I think that Dortmund do have this history of picking up players that maybe have fallen on hard times, still got a lot of their career left, and they can sell them on when they're 28. So I think that Martial would fit that bill. Emre Can is another one. Not doing particularly well at Juventus, was available cheap. You bring him in, he does well. He might move again when he's 28. You make a profit on him. He might stay there the rest of his career. And he's a good player because Dortmund obviously do want to try and be competitive in the Bundesliga. So I don't think for 1 minute that that Dortmund would turn their nose up at a swap deal for Anthony Martial involving a bit of money for Jadon Sancho or maybe even Haaland. But look, that may be a step into the unknown, but I think what we can all establish, and Martial hopefully today is going to have a big impact against Chelsea because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying that hopefully Cavani is going to come to me and say that he can play. How ridiculous would that be? by Ollie's words, he's not even trained. Even if he trained yesterday, one training session ahead of a massive game like this, you can't chuck Cavani in from the start. So Martial will probably start today, and hopefully he will be good. And I just want to say Martial's one of my favourite players at the club. He always has been. But I think the club, and everybody's starting to understand that maybe this is coming towards the end of Martial's stay at Manchester United. Maybe not. Hopefully not. Hopefully this is a little blip of a few months and he finds his form again. But even I would sit here as a Martial fan and say there's no guarantee that this blip won't happen next year or the year after that or the year after that. Can he find that consistency in a Manchester United shirt? Or is it getting to the point where the player needs a move and United need to move on? And that's the question mark, isn't it? And that's not about being a Martial hater, as some people are. That's about looking at a situation and saying Anthony Martial has been a ridiculously exciting player at Manchester United and this is why he's one of my favourite players. But where are we now? 25 years of age, no longer a young player with talent. This is deliverable times. And after being Player of the Year last year, it's been a very disappointing season for Tony. He's no longer a first teamer when everyone's fit. Is that progression in a United shirt, or is it time to move? But as I've said a few times over the weeks, this is not a deal that Manchester United will push for. This is a deal that Martial will have to push for. So you don't need to feel guilty about Martial leaving the club, because I think if he's going to leave, it's something he's going to push himself. And if he does that, this is when the doors open to potential swap deals, because I don't think we will sell money. I don't think we'll sell Martial for cash, because I don't think we'll get the going rates. For me, Anthony Martial, and sit down and don't laugh, I think Martial is around 70 to 90 million pounds. I think that's what his value is. With what's left on his contract and how good a player he is, 70 to 90 million. At the moment, nobody will probably give us 50. But we should never sell him for 50. You can't sell a player for 50 million just because he's had a bad 6 months. He's a better player than that. So I think United would have to do it in a swap deal. But we'll see. We'll see. And I certainly wouldn't close the door on Dortmund looking at him. Greenwood is supposed to be this devastating finisher, but Martial holding the number 9 spot is stopping him fulfilling his potential. Swap sounds good, says Simon. Yeah, look, I think that Mason Greenwood is 19 years of age, and I don't feel personally that he's ready to take the number 9 shirt. I mean, look, we live here today. It's Sunday. We're playing Chelsea. Would you start Greenwood at number 9 over Martial? I wouldn't. Some of you might. I wouldn't. I don't think Mason Greenwood's ready for that yet. I think there's a lot to be learnt. Look at how Martial learnt to play as number 9, and look at how Rashford couldn't. There was a time, probably 18 months ago, where where nobody really knew if it was Rashford who was a number 9 or Martial. Martial retrained himself. He became very good with his back to goal. He became very good at making the runs. He became very good at the link-up play. Rashford isn't that. Rashford's not a back to goal player. Rashford's a run onto the ball player. And this is what Greenwood's got to learn. It's a very different position playing as a number 9 than a winger. If you play as a winger, you normally get the ball and you'll have the space to run forward. If you're playing as a number 9, a lot of your game is playing with your back to goal. And Martial's very good at that, and that's what Greenwood needs to learn. People think, put Greenwood up front and he'll just score loads of goals. Well, that might happen, but there's a lot more to playing as a number 9. I mean, look at Cavani. You've got one of the better number 9s in world football in relation to playing that role. So Greenwood needs to learn all of that, definitely. Morning, Mark. I think a swap deal involving Martial for Haaland or Sancho would make perfect sense, says Jack Lynch. Thank you very much for the super chat today. You can do that through the $ if you want. Callum says Martial's not a number 9. Callum, that's your decision to say that, mate. I would say that he is a number 9. I would say that you've got a very short memory, and that last season he was voted Player of the Year and he played number 9 all season. So he definitely is a number 9. Is he a Manchester United number 9? Well, at the moment you'd have to say no, but he's definitely a number 9, and that's where he wants to play. And I think if you played Martial as a number 9 for Everton or Sevilla or even Dortmund, I think he would do very, very well. The question is, can he be a Manchester United number 9? Sean says Greenwood needs to fill out and get more stocky before he can play at the 9. It's so normal for strikers to start on the wing until they're mature. Yeah, Sem's right, and that's exactly what happened with Anthony Martial, doesn't it? And Martial, Player of the Year last season, 25 goals, has said. Yeah, look, I'm not going to get stressed or moody. The reality is that football fans are very fickle. Including myself. You know, we're all fickle animals and we all change our opinions. It makes me laugh, actually, that there is a lot of horrific abuse on social media for players at the moment. But it makes me laugh when you get these pundits and journalists saying it's never been this bad. And I'm like, hold on a minute. A lot of you played when it was bad. I mean, we in the 80s, people like John Barnes were having bananas thrown at them from the terrace. So, of course, that is a lot worse than somebody being on social media, hiding behind a keyboard and using a racist term. That's premeditated racism, and it's pretty bloody full on when you're throwing the banana at him on the pitch. So we have had it worse, and we've definitely had player abuse a lot worse as well. So I think that, when I used to go to football as a kid, they used to go, oh, you're shit, when a goalkeeper did a kick. And it was, very, very, very abusive. And football fans have always been like that. But another thing that football fans have always been is very fickle, because there's so many games and there's so many opportunities to change your opinion on players and everything from game to game. But look, the reality is Anthony Martial was our player of the year last year, and he was a brilliant number 9. This season, he's not been very good. But I did see improvement on Thursday night from Martial, and today is a huge game, by the way, absolutely huge. And if Martial starts, it's an opportunity to start building a reputation back, but it doesn't mean he won't go in the summer though. Personally, I think we've had our lot from Martial, says Liam Devon Red. It's a swap deal plus cash for Haaland was on the table, then it's something to do. I would start MG up top if it meant Diallo at right wing, but who are we kidding? Ollie does not have the bottle to do that. See, Julian, I like that opinion. I watched Amad Diallo play on Thursday night. I wouldn't start him against Chelsea. No way. I wouldn't start him in a game of this magnitude. And I want Diallo to do well. But what did I say about Diallo on Thursday? I wanted to watch him and see where he is. And I think I know where he is now. He is not ready for first team football. He is a 20-minute cameo player at the moment. Half an hour here, there and there. But it was that eagerness to see where he's at. He's not ready to chuck into a game at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea today, where they've got wing backs who are going to push us back. This is, unfortunately, as glamorous. It's not very glamorous, but today, if I've got a choice between Diallo and Dan James, I'm going to pick Dan James. Not because I'm Ricky Fleck and I want to have an organisation. I'm going to pick it because I know we're going to park the bus and I know we're going to hit on the brake. So why would you pick a player who's all about skill and taking people on, who's very young, to basically be tracking Alonso right the way back to there all game? We're going to play defensive today, so I wouldn't play Diallo. I heard we're thinking of swapping Martial for Skriniar, and Tony is valued at 65 million. Is there no chance we could try and get Martinez with a swap and cash? Well, I wouldn't get Skriniar, Luke 82. He's not the right sort of centre-back that we need. Martial isn't even playing bad, says Nathan. The way we're playing just isn't beneficial for our strikers. They simply don't get enough chances created in the box. I agree with you, Nathan. I don't think we create enough chances for our strikers, but I can't agree with you that Martial's not playing bad. I mean, look, there has been some horrific performances that I, as a big fan of Martial, I can't pretend or defend some of his performances in the last few weeks. They have been really bad. But you're right about the service. In relation to goals, I wouldn't complain. It's there. In your opinion, say we got Brozovic and Pau Torres, how optimistic are you for the season, and how do you see those players fitting in? Luke, if we get Pau Torres and Brozovic, we will be fighting for fourth. They are not the quality of player that closes a gap on Liverpool and Manchester City. As I said, if you get third-rate players, you finish third. Manchester United need to start looking at the activity of Manchester City and Liverpool when they did that big summer where they brought Alisson and a few others in. You need to bring in players that are top quality players, and there are players out there that would suit Manchester United, and Koundé would be one of those. Could sell Pogba, De Gea, Martial this summer, but Jones, Matadillo, Pereira and Lingard need to go first. Should be a busy summer, says Ramnish. I like Diallo, but give me De Van de Beek vibes. One-touch passer's not the type of player Ollie likes. Plus, he needs to build some muscles. Looks tiny, says DK. I think he's got a great future, Diallo. I just think we're going to have to be patient. And look, he's only played about 40 minutes. In his next cameo, you might suddenly go, he's first team quality. I think the great thing about Diallo is that the expectation has been tempered. He's definitely got potential. He's very, very exciting, but he's not drop into the first team ready. And I think that's good for the fan base, because most of us have seen that, and it's like, right, okay, we've got a real talent here, but let's feed him in gradually, half an hour here, 20 minutes there. And in 3-4 months, by May, I expect to see even more. I'm not like send him on loan. I'm not at that level. I'm like, let's feed him in gradually. I want to see him getting more 10 minutes, 20 minutes. That's what I want to see over the next few weeks and months. And I think we assess it with every performance. Swap only makes sense if Dortmund sells Haaland, but in that case they would want Yusuf Makuku to get a lot of playing time. Martial would start most games, but why move to split time, said Ben. Well, exactly. I'm not saying it's perfect for Dortmund, but what I'm saying is that there are opportunities there in relation to a swap deal with Anthony Martial. But let's talk about what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say about transfers in his embargoed press conference that was released last night. This to me was this was quite interesting. He said, we look at the squad every window and see what there is out there, see what we feel we need. There might be injuries in the squad, there might be different reasons for a change. So I think this is slow from Manchester United. We look at the window, we look at what's available. That doesn't sound like very proactive, does it? And I think we know this doesn't happen at United. And I think Solskjaer gives you a glimpse of what we fear here. We look at the squad every window and we see what's out there. That's not proactive. That's like, that's like going to the sales in January and seeing if there's anything left. Oh, we look at the window and we see what's out there. Proactive clubs don't look at the window. They know what they want and they try and get it. So they're not proactive there. He goes on to say, our transfer plans, of course, we've got long-term plans, and I feel my squad now is more and more full of younger players that can improve. So basically, that you could read that many ways, but that could be, I've got a lot of young players, so I don't really look at buying players because these players are going to get better. I look at United's young players and I think, well, where's the young centre-back then? We thought it could be Twensabi, but you don't pick him. Where's the centre defensive midfielder? Garner doing very well for Forest. He's 19. You're telling me you're going to drop him in next season? No chance. You won't play him first team next year. So where's your CDM? Where's your right winger then? All right, Diallo, Palestri, Greenwood, but how close are they to being ready to play next season? Everything's always with United. It's always in the future, because the great thing about selling the future is it never happens. In the future, we're going to be this. In the future, we're going to be that. I don't think Man City come out and go, in the future, these players will make us win the title in 3 years' time. They go and try and win it now, because that's what winners do. Winners don't tell you about the future. They go and do it now, because the future never comes. You do it now. And United have been talking about the future for the last bloody 8 years. He says, I've got a strong squad, a deep squad. I can't say if it's going to be X amount of signings in the summer. We still look at players, and it has to be the right one. It's not the amount of transfers. Just sounds like stuttering to me from Solskjaer. That strong squad, can't tell you how many players I'm going to get. It's not about how many you get, it's about the right one. Well, as we've seen before, we don't always get the right one. We get the second one or the third one. And for me, this is the most interesting thing he said, and take this how you want. Direct quote from Solskjaer. For me, the main thing is we've sat down. We had a very open discussion when I came in, and I laid down my plans, and the club, of course, made a decision, and they agreed with me some of the changes we have to make. Some of the changes we have to make. And I think that is probably the most relevant thing Solskjaer said in a long time. We had an open discussion. I came in, I laid down my plans, and the club of course made a decision, and they agreed with me with some of the changes we had to make. Some of the changes we had to make. Not all, not most, some. That is probably one of the most real things Solskjaer has ever said, and it probably won't get picked up. I had a load of plans. The club agreed with me on some of them. Not all of them, not most of them, not the majority of them, some of them. How much is some? He might have had 10 ideas and they agreed on 2. Some could be 2. It could be 3. I don't think it's over 5. So, and this is the thing that we always talk about Manchester United. A manager comes in with these ideas and it gets diluted. It's diluted. It's like, I'd like a pint, I'd like a whiskey, and they put a little bit in and they pour a load of water in it. It's not whiskey. It's diluted. That's not what I wanted. And I think that this is very, very clear what Solskjaer's not stupid. That statement's really, look, somebody might say it's misquoted, his English isn't that good, but come on. I had a load of plans and the club agreed with me on some of them. Well, who are they? So basically, and this is the issue we have at Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a football man who knows what Man United's all about, comes in with a list of ideas of what he needs to do, and Manchester United don't agree with them. They only agree with some of them. Who is telling Ole Gunnar Solskjaer no? If he's got a big list of ideas, who's telling him we'll do that one, we're not doing that, we might do that, we'll do that one, and we're not doing that? Who's telling him? We don't have a director of football. We don't have anybody on the board that's hands-on football. So who's telling Ole Gunnar Solskjaer no? And this is exactly the same problem we've always had. Mourinho, Van Gaal, everybody. They don't get what they want. They come in with ideas. They come in with a plan. And they don't deliver. And this is very much like, I've used Formula 1 before and I'll use it again. Ferrari, Mercedes, they're dominating Formula 1, right? I come in to Williams, who want to be the best again, like they were in the 90s with Nigel Mansell and Damon Hill. They want to be the best again. So they employ me. And I come in and I go, I've analysed everything. this is what we need to do to get back to there. It's going to be hard, but this is what we've got to do. And I'll give you the list. And they look at the list and they go, well, you can have that. You're not having that. You're not having that. You're not having that. I can give you a crap version of that. You're not having that. You can have that. You can have that. And I'll try and get you that at some point in the future. And I'll sit there and go, well, that's the list of everything I need to catch them. You've just crossed off half of it and given me third choice options for some of it. That's not going to be good enough, is it? So I think that's one of the... I mean, look, Solskjaer might now come out and clarify what he said, but to me, honestly, I think that's massive. To say we sat down and had a list of things that I felt we needed to do and they agreed on some of it, some is crap. You know, I used to get that when I was a kid. You know, you go to the sweet shop on a Friday night, you buy all these sweets, you come home and you say, can I have them? You can have some of them now. Oh, and when I heard that, I'd be like, oh, shit. That means I'm going to have to... I've got all these sweets, that means I'm going to have to choose a few for now and save the rest for later. And that's basically what Ollie's saying, isn't it? I had a big list of things and they agreed with me on some of it. You don't become the best club in England by getting some of the things you want. You have to get all the things you want. And the prime example is Pep Guardiola. How many right backs has he had? How many centre backs has he had? How many goalkeepers has he had? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is competing against the manager that gets numerous options of the things he wants until he finds the one he wants. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't even get the option he wants. He doesn't even get a centre back. Doesn't even get a CDM. Doesn't even get a right winger. Pep Guardiola, it's like, well, I want that right back. No, I want that one. No, now I want that one. I want that goalkeeper. No, I want that one. I want that one. How can you compete? How can you compete with that? It's very, 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 very difficult. And but Manchester United, they just keep spreading this fairy dust, thinking that we're gonna get lucky at some point. And so I applaud Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I applaud him again. I think he's been very clever in the way that he's got that out there. And I don't think many people, I don't even think the mainstream media will even notice it. But you will notice it, and we will notice it, because that I read what Solskjaer says, and I read the words, and they'll totally miss this. On bloody Sky this afternoon, they'll be talking about Henderson shouting and why it should be De Gea in goal again. They'll have found a clip from 2013 where De Gea made a mistake. They will not have picked up on that, and that to me is massive. They agree I should get some of the things I need. You know, Gary Neville should be losing his shit on that. He should be going, the club from bottom to top is ruined. I told you this under Mourinho 3 years ago. It's ruined. You can't have some of the things. You've got to have all the things. But we won't hear that. We won't hear that at all. And because we already know it, don't we? And everybody's just resigned to it, unfortunately. Let's carry on anyway. Nikola Milenkovic. More stories yesterday from Italy about him leaving. Centre-back at Fiorentina, early 20s. He's got only 1 year left on his contract. Expected to leave for the Premier League this summer. Manchester United forefront again. In summary to that, we've had The Athletic at the start of the week saying that this is just the agent, and it could well be the agent. We've had Romano saying that we've definitely scouted him. My stance is I hope it's the agent just using Manchester United, and it could well be that, because we do not want Milenkovic, if we're absolutely honest. He's a very good player, but he would not form, in my mind, a partnership with Harry Maguire. It would be a very weird partnership. They're both very tall. They're both very good in the air. They're both quite decent with the ball at their feet. But they're both quite similar in a different way, if you know what I mean. They're not. They don't. I mean, Koundé and Maguire, Koundé and Milenkovic, that would complement itself perfectly. Height, pace, reading of the game, physicality. You've got it all. I don't think Maguire and Milenkovic work. I don't think Milenkovic and Lindelof work. We've seen what works with Maguire and Lindelof, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really should be sat there with whoever's buying in players and say, look, I can't use Eric Bailly long term because he'll get injured, but that's the sort of centre-back I need. I need somebody like Eric Bailly who's going to be fit all season. That's what I need. And my evidence for that is, look at when I play Bailly with Maguire, look at when I play Bailly with Lindelof, it works. I've got to have that type of centre-back. So I don't think we'll go for Milenkovic. Hi Mark, we've been the second highest net spenders in world football in the last 6 years. We should differentiate between ambition and incompetence, says Mahil Lambert. Well, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I think where that comes in for me, Mehil, is that yes, we have spent a lot of money. I said that last night. We have spent a lot of money and we've spent it very, very badly. And I don't think there's any other industry where if a chief executive had stood over that amount of spending and there's no progress in the club really, would still be in the job. That's on the Glazers. Why they allow that board to spend that money incompetently and still keep them in a role is ridiculous. It just shows you what a mates rates club we've got, because Abramovich, Man City, they'd sack that chief executive for the amount of money they've wasted. But it's all about mates, isn't it? Because they help them buy the club. But the second point is, not only have we spent money badly and incompetently, another big important strand of that is, and you listen to Mourinho, and you listen to Van Gaal, and you listen to Ollie when he gets the sack at some point, the players that they bought are not the players the manager wanted. They're third, fourth, fifth choices. They're not first or second choices. We've seen that with Van der Beek. We all like Van der Beek. It's not the player Ollie wanted. And there's plenty of examples of that from the words of ex-managers. You don't get what you want. You do get players, and then you have to work miracles with players that you didn't really want. So we spend money, but we spend it on the players that the manager doesn't really want. And that's just terrible spending of money. You may as well not spend the money. Then I mean, to be honest with you, let's be absolutely blunt. That 35 million on Donny van der Beek, should it have been... and I've never said this before because I like the player. It's not his fault. That 35 million we spent on Donny van der Beek, should we have spent it? And the answer for me is no. What has that 35 million given us 8 months into the season? Nothing. Nothing. He's hardly been used. He's been massively underused by a manager that, to me, clearly didn't want him, really. Now, he'll never come out and say that because he's never going to throw the owners under the bus, and he's not going to do that to a player like Donny. Why would he? But realistically, we shouldn't have spent that money because it's clearly not what Solskjaer wanted. So, again, it's incompetence, isn't it? Mark, you just listed some reasons why we will end up in the bottom half in 10 years. Only a magician could turn this club around under the Glazers, says DK. There's another story coming out of Italy in relation to Alex Telles and Inter Milan. Inter Milan always want our players, don't they? Brozovic plus cash. No, Telles plus 10 million for Brozovic. I'm conflicted on this one. I don't... I think Telles doesn't get the mentions he probably deserves. And I don't know why. And I think it's probably because Luke Shaw has been brilliant and you can only play one left back. Whereas with Donny, there's multiple positions he can play in. So it's more frustrating that he doesn't start. Donny could play 10. He could play off the right like we used to do with Mata. He could play in the pivot. There's 3 or 4 positions that you could pick Donny if you wanted to. And he doesn't pick him. With Telles, you can only pick him in one position. And that's obviously the left back position. But... does Telles have a future at Manchester United? Is it a season where he'd say, I want to leave? And actually, you know, when you think about it, it could be that Sevilla. It could be that Telles, not Sevilla the football club, Sevilla in relation to bad. It could be that Telles goes in the summer because he's hardly played any football. Luke Shaw's got his position. Can he be happy just playing Europa League games? Is it not the same situation as a Dean Henderson? And the amazing thing is that Alex Telles last season, when he was playing in Portugal, was considered to be certainly one of the top 5 attacking left backs in the world. And he's now second choice to Luke Shaw at Manchester United. So I think that there is an interesting thing that could happen with Alex Telles. I wouldn't, and his crosses are fire, Josh. They are. But what I want to say about Telles is, yet again, it's very clear he wasn't the player that Solskjaer wanted. And whatever you think about the way we're playing football, the biggest problem in this football club is the way it is run. Because we've just spoken about the 35 million we wasted on Van der Beek. Well, we've wasted another 15 million on Telles, who clearly wasn't the left back that Solskjaer wanted. Because no matter how good Luke Shaw has been, if you bring a left back in, you want to play them. You don't buy Telles or Reguilon to sit him on the bench. And yet, that is exactly what's happened. And to be honest with Telles, we know he wasn't the first choice because we know we wanted Reguilon and we know we backed off. The rumours are that Telles was third choice. I don't know who the first choice was. Somebody in the live comments will know. But if you keep getting these third-rate options, they're not going to get used, and it's just dead money. And Telles at the moment, I can't see how Telles gets in this team, so maybe he will be looking to go soon. I don't know. We should try him at left wing, says Plurzy. Do you think Telles could play CDM? He can defend and he's quick and he's tenacious. He's very left-footed though, Tom, isn't he? I think, but then again, so's Fred. You're right. Telles is better than Reguilon. I don't know. I mean, Reguilon's been very injured, very, very injured indeed, and I do like Reguilon. But some people are saying Telles was second choice. Apparently not. Apparently he was third choice. But I can't think who the first choice would be. But apparently he was third choice. But second or third choice, it's still not first choice, is it? It's still not deliverable. And I think the problem is, as a manager, if you want Jadon Sancho and you get Adama Traore, it's not the same, is it? Adama Traore is still a good player, but it's not Jadon Sancho. And Manchester United, you should be getting the first choices. That's the problem. It wasn't Chilwell, definitely not Chilwell. Well, it could have been Chilwell, actually. It could have been Chilwell. You're right. It could have. No, in United, it could have been Chilwell, and we got priced out. It could have been Chilwell. I'm not. It's only because I don't rate Chilwell. A lot of people are saying it was Chilwell. We wouldn't. Well, that could be true. That could be true because the reason we didn't get Chilwell is because we wouldn't pay 50 million. Again, because we did that with Wan-Bissaka. So maybe it was Chilwell, then Reguilon, then Telles. But it was Tagliafico, says United Hub. But it could have been many people, but the strong rumour was that Telles was third choice in that. So there we go. But look, today is a massive game. I do want to just bring you some quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about what's his name? Tuchel. We played against Tuchel 4 times against PSG, and I can't remember if he played the same way twice. He might change it. That's fine. He's one of those coaches. He loves football. He knows his football, and the team is very well prepared for every game and every opposition. For me, we have to prepare for all different scenarios, and that just sounds very defensive to me from Solskjaer. And look, some people will agree with that. This is what I predicted would happen. We will be over obsessed about what Chelsea are doing because this is what we do. When we play the traditional top 6, we're too shit scared about what they're doing and we don't implement our own game plan. So I said this during the Newcastle game last week. I said we're going to play a deep back 4, Maguire and Lindelof, McFred and counter-attack. And looking at what Solskjaer's saying in his press conference there, you never know how Chelsea are going to play. Tuchel's very methodical. He always changes things up and we've got to be prepared for that ourselves. And that just to me reads that we're going to adapt to them. We're going to let them do what they want to do and try and stop them doing it. Which is, if it's Man City, I get it. But I don't necessarily think against Chelsea that needs to be the case. I'd like to see something a little bit more progressive. But I hope this doesn't happen today, but my prediction for today is that Bruno Fernandes will not get a very good score in the player ratings. I think we will have one of those games where people who don't understand United will go, oh, Bruno disappeared again. In a big game, Bruno disappeared again. And this is just mythical nonsense. Bruno doesn't disappear in the big games because he's not a big game player. Bruno disappears in the big games because of the way we go out there tactically. We go out there to play deep and counter-attacking. Well, straight away that doesn't serve a number 10 because a number 10 wants the ball in and around the box. Well, if you're not going to have the ball in and around the box, this is why people like Martial, Cavani, Rashford, Bruno, Greenwood don't tend to have good games when we play the traditional top 6. And this is why we've scored 1 goal in about, 5 games against the top 6 games, I don't know. Because we just played defensively and counter-attacking, and that's what we're going to do today. So I hope I'm really wrong on that. I really hope I'm wrong, but I think we know what's coming today. And the main thing is, though, it's a proper 6-pointer. We are 6 points ahead of Chelsea. That's not why it's a 6-pointer. It's a 6-pointer because there's a 6-point shift in results. If we win, we go 9 points ahead of Chelsea. If we draw, it stays 3 points, so 6 points. If we lose, it goes 3 points. And also, we're 9 points ahead of Liverpool. They're playing Sheffield United. I expect them to win. So if we lose, Liverpool will be 6 points behind us. If we win, we'll still be 9 points ahead of Liverpool. So it's massive, massive. I don't want to lose. I don't want Chelsea to be 3 points behind us because I think it becomes very, very, very wary then of top 4, especially with Leicester playing Arsenal. If Leicester win today as well, there's an opportunity for United here to solidify that top 4 position, and that means not getting beaten, especially with Chelsea having to play Liverpool on Thursday. Donny would be good in this game. Doubt he'll start though, says Tyrant. Yeah, well, he's not a first teamer, is he, Donny? Let's be honest. And Mark, get ready for the Saka masterclass, slowly rising up the table, says Zayn Miasi. Mate, you're slowly rising up the table like a big heavy turd landing in a toilet. Actually, they do float. But I was thinking about sinking. Shit. But there you go. Ollie's plans: sign Mbappe, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Neymar, Messi. And Ihab says, please like the video and subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We are on that road to 5k. 1 million, bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Anyway, what was I going to say? Saka isn't even starting. He's on the bench, saying doesn't even know his own club. Man City had Koundé, Koulibaly and Diaz as shortlists on their centre-backs last summer, says Salah Ahmed. They got third choice, yet difference is the quality of the backup targets they have. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't watch a lot of La Liga, so I cannot give an honest, and I've done this too many times. When Liverpool bought Van Dijk, I said he's just a Dutch Chris Smalling. When we got Cavani, I said I'd rather have Josh King, because I wasn't very happy about not getting Sancho. I'm not going to sit here and go, don't buy Pau Torres, he's the Spanish Victor Lindelof, because then when we get him, people will just go back to that all the time. I haven't seen enough of Pau Torres to say he's terrible or he's the Spanish Victor Lindelof, but a lot of you have said that. My issue with Pau Torres is I don't see him being the solution to what Manchester United need. I don't think he's got the personality, I don't think he's got the pace, I don't think he's got the defensive style for what we need. It might work, but what's very clear with Pau Torres is he is not what Salah just said there. He is not Koundé, he is not Koulibaly, he is not Ruben Diaz, he is not an elite centre-back who has the potential, well, elite's not the word, elite potential centre-back that Manchester United need. Pau Torres is just another, it might work and it's cheaper than getting that one. That's what it is with Pau Torres. If United go for Pau Torres, they're going for the cheap option, because that's how we run our football club. We want to be successful, but we want to do it on the cheap. Those two things don't go together. They don't go together. I want to run a fine dining restaurant, but I'm going to buy my meat from Joey the meat trader who nicks it from Tesco. If you want a fine dining restaurant, buy fine ingredients. But Manchester United, they want the fine dining restaurant and they're buying their meat and their bloody veg second hand. You know, it's just past its sell-by date. Be fine. That'll be fine for a week. Chuck it in the freezer. Can you explain to my girlfriend Adele why I watch you and the match at the same time? Falling on deaf ears, says Stephen Atkinson. I don't know. I mean, I think our watch along on the United stand, in all honesty with you, I think one of the ingredients really is the fact that we are we interact like we interact now. And I think that there's been times in my life where I watch a football match and I'm watching it on my own and I really want to interact. I'm doing a watch along at 12 o'clock on That's Football, by the way. Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. Type it in. It's already set up. Live at Leicester versus Arsenal. So I'm doing a watch along for that. And I would normally watch that game, but nobody in my house is going to watch that game. So watching it with the live comments and interacting and turning the bloody crap commentary off, that is what I enjoy doing. So I presume that is what works with the United stand. And it matters more when it's your club playing. So that's probably what it's all about. And it's, you know, it's unfiltered opinion as well. I think on TV, whether it's halftime chat or it's commentary, it's very, very, very snowflake, isn't it? It's just very watered down. You're never going to get somebody going, tell you what, that's shit. That's absolutely unforgivable. On that amount of money to do that, that's a joke. All you'll get is, he'll be disappointed with himself there, Martin. He'll be disappointed with himself there. 1-0. You know, it's not proper, is it? But there we go. So big game. Match kickoff is at 4:30 today, isn't it? So we'll be live at 3 o'clock on this channel. But if you want some more football chat, I'm live just before midday. It's a midday kickoff. It's Leicester versus Arsenal on That's Football. Just search it. You'll see that it's already set up and the live comments is open already. So join me over there for that. Exciting day. Very much looking forward to it. Manchester United versus Chelsea. It's a massive game, and I'm very excited about it. I mean, these games don't get pumped up anymore, and I think a lot of it's to do with the world we live in, no fans, COVID, but it's a massive game, and I'm really excited about it. So make sure you tune in. Please subscribe, bottom right hand corner, to do that. We're on that road to 1 million, so bottom right hand corner to subscribe. If you've already subscribed, smash a like on the video and share the video because that helps. But we're on that road to 1 million, and a massive game today. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on the watch along on That's Football if you're joining me this afternoon for the Chelsea one. Speak to you in a bit. Have a good day.